How's it going, guys? And I'm back bringing you another operator guide, this time on the German operator Blitz. Now, starting off with his loadout, Blitz has pretty simple weapon choices. He only has one primary, which is his shield. His shield is also his ability, which I will explain more in detail later. Now, his secondary weapon is only the P12 handgun. The gun is pretty standard with the 43 damage it does have, but it gets the job done, so I have no complaints with it. Now, for his gadgets, he does get the options between smoke grenades or breaching charges. Both of them are really good choices, but I prefer breaching charges as it gives me the ability to make more pathways towards the objective. Now I'm going to talk about Blitz's special ability, which is his flash shield. He is able to do only 5 flashes per round. The flash sort of works like a flashbang, in which you don't have to be looking in front of the person for it to be effective. The flash does actually affect your teammates. You gotta be really careful when they are around you. So the flash actually has a really short range, so it's best to be really close to them when you do use it. And the last thing I'm going to mention is that the flash actually affects your enemy for a really long time, so it gives you plenty of time for you to deal with them. So now I'm going to be talking about Blitz's role in the team. So Blitz, in my opinion, is actually one of the most underrated operators in Siege. So Blitz is actually one of the best operators you can have to lead your front line. Since he does have a shield, he can easily go around corners without worrying about getting headshotted. And this actually helps out your team a lot because it alerts them that there's an enemy nearby watching a certain area. Now, the way I play Blitz is very fast. Since they did give him the ability to run with his shield up, you can easily push an enemy inside the room. One of the biggest things you do have to worry about when you play Blitz is crossfire. Anytime 2 enemies start circling Blitz, it usually leads to his death. But the best way I handle this is to flash the enemy closest to you and rush the one that's furthest to you. And the reason this works most times for me is because a lot of the times the enemy that got blinded doesn't know where I'm at, has no idea what's happening because he is blinded for a really long time. Now during this time you could actually go towards his teammate that is providing that crossfire and eliminate them. Now when you play Blitz, I do suggest you play him really fast compared to playing him really slow. I find that when you play him really slow, it's kind of ineffective because the longer you take, the more time your enemy has to surround you, so it's best just to get things done right away. So one of the biggest crucial things when you are playing Blitz is to know when to rush the enemy. So what I mean by that is when you do sprint with Blitz, you do have your shield in front of you, but it leaves your feet and legs completely exposed to being shot at. So what I do in order to avoid being shot at the feet is that I sprint for 2 to 3 seconds, then I crouch again. This way I'm actually closing the distance pretty safely, and I'm taking minimal shots to the feet and legs. So one of the biggest things you need to know about Blitz is how to enter a building safely and more fast. So the first thing you really need to do is check the door frames of the buildings if it has not been droned out for you. Once you have done that, always pick areas that are less open, so kind of like hallways or small rooms, and basically make your pathway towards the objective that way. And also that's why I do recommend bringing breaching charges, because if you don't have an area or a pathway to go through, you could always make some with breaching charges. Now I'm going to be talking about some of the biggest mistakes I see Blitz players make. So the first mistake on the list is going to be aiming down your sights at an opponent. I actually see this quite a lot because a lot of people like to aim down their sights as a shield operator because they're so used to doing it as other operators. But one big rule of thumb I always use is that if the enemy is looking at me, I never aim down my sights. The only time I do aim down my sights if I flash the enemy or if I know the enemy is not looking at me. Now this doesn't mean you shouldn't ever shoot at your enemy. A lot of the times I like to hip fire instead of aiming down sights. I find it a lot more effective because most times the bullet will hit your enemy, especially if you're really up close, and most times you actually get headshots if you're up in front of them. Also when you're hip firing, you have a lot less chance of getting shot in the face, and that's why overall I think it's a lot better to hip fire compared to aiming down sights. The second mistake I'm going to be talking about is meleeing with the shield. So when you have a shield, it's kind of weird when you do melee because it has a very short range. So what usually happens is that you try to melee your opponent, but a lot of the times you're out of range, so you kind of miss. And your opponent you're facing most likely will come up to you and knife you. So what I do when I do melee with my shield is only melee when they're flashed or if I'm rushing them with my shield. Now I'm going to be rating Blitz on 3 things, which is loadout, gadget, and team efficiency. Now for Blitz's loadout, I'm going to have to give him a 6 out of 10. Blitz's loadout is pretty simple, there's not much to it. He gets a shield and a pistol, and that's about it, and that's why he gets kind of a lower score for this. I understand that they gave him 1 shield because that is his main weapon, but the biggest issue for me is that they should have gave him 2 types of pistols, one with high damage and low magazine, and the other one with high magazine, lower damage, kind of how Montague has it. Now his gadgets actually make sense to me because his breaching charges do help him get around the map a lot easier since he is a shield operator, and the smoke grenades are perfect for cover when there is crossfire. Even though I do like the handgun Blitz is given, I still believe his loadout is pretty plain and bland, so that's why he gets a 6 out of 10 for his loadout. Now rating Blitz's gadget, I do give him an 8 out of 10 for this one. Blitz's flash shield is one of the gadgets you actually have to be skilled to use, unlike many gadgets in Siege. And I'm mainly talking about the small micro transitions you have to make while you're pushing your enemy, like throwing a flashbang, placing a reaching charge, entering a room. All those take into effect when you are using that flash shield. And to be honest, Blitz is one of my favorite operators to play because you get to play the game a little differently with him. It's not the same as playing it with Ash or Buck. And his shield just adds to this fun, so that's why I give him an 8 out of 10 for his gadget. Moving on to Blitz's team efficiency, I do believe he is really useful to the team when you do have him with the correct player behind him. Shield operators in general are actually really good for your team if the player that's playing them actually knows how to use them. So what Blitz actually creates in a firefight is quick decision making, because a lot of the times if you are charging with him, because since Blitz could actually sprint with his shields forward, it creates a lot of panic for the enemy team. They're either going to try to fight you, which mostly is a bad decision if they are by themselves, or they're going to turn their back to you and try to run away. Since you are such a big distraction, it actually gets your teammates a lot of kills most times. And the speed in which you guys start pushing the objective is most times a lot faster with the shield operator. The only issue I have to say I have with Blitz with team efficiency is that sometimes if there is crossfire, a lot of the time he's really useless because he can't even enter a room to help you. But besides that, honestly, all his other attributes are really good, and that's why he gets a 9 out of 10 for team efficiency. Now, combining all three scores up, his score is an 8 out of 10. Well, that's the end of the video. If you guys want more content like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Also, leave that like button if you did like the video. Also, tell me in the comment section below what would you like as the next operator video. And once again, guys, thanks for watching.